Greetings and welcome back to another video. So I want to show you and I want to present to you Mark Meadows having to testify before the jury for Trump's mishandling of classified documents. And I have to pause here and say that, do you think that the process of this grand jury is fair? You can put that in the comments below, okay? My point here is we had 3 other people that had classified documents. They were all in the spotlight, but 2 fizzed out and 1 stayed in the spotlight. Biden had documents and Pence had documents. Trump had documents. So what happened to the other 2? Why are they not being persecuted for having those documents? I think this is where the American people begin to draw the line. And I know many have been drawing the line because you are asking yourself, if this can happen to a former president, then what happens to a common citizen? They will be finished because it's not fair. The process of this whole thing really shows that they're out to get Trump. And I'm not saying that you have to like Trump, you have to dislike Trump, or you may be indifferent. I don't think so. I think at this point, we're just looking at facts and we're looking at the structure of how this process is being pinned out. And we can see that it is not justice. Okay, justice is supposed to be done without eyes, okay, without the placing of the hand on the scale. And in this case, look at the media. They're all salivating. Oh, he's going to be indicted twice. He has 2 more indictments coming down the line. And this is something that will change. And they're just hoping that the American people are going to change their mind. Meanwhile, in their polls, they can clearly see that Americans see this as injustice. Just report the news. Don't add all of this. Don't wrap this up and present it to the American people. They're grown, they're adults. They can digest the information. Just give them the facts. And this is why many people are rising up to do and to learn for themselves and see what is actually in these documents and see why the media is so much against Trump. I want you to watch the end of this MSNBC, I said MNBC, MSNBC video and see the panel, look at them, and let's come back to this video.
To Washington, D.C. That happens occasionally, but that's rare. So it's one of those things, most likely, but it's that black box from grade school, Joe, and it's hard to know for sure.
So, Elizabeth, Mark Meadows, we learned from the January 6 hearings from following the news, had a lot of information to share. I guess the question is, how do we know if he shared it? Was he perhaps compelled to share it? But he had access to a lot of the information that could potentially damage the former president.
Yes, and he shared all of those documents earlier in the very beginning of the investigation. So much of what he knows was in the documents he already gave to investigators. But I think what's interesting about this grand jury in Florida and what looks to be wrapping up the grand jury in Washington is that we are hearing we're fairly close to a decision by the prosecutor to potentially charge former President Trump. And we're hearing that increasingly, that this is perhaps weeks away. Of course, things take a lot longer, as Chuck knows, than people usually think. But it looks like the investigation is wrapping up. And so, and plus, they need to move quickly because there's the Georgia investigation. And then, of course, there's the January 6th investigation. So, as we have talked about, former president is potentially facing 3 more indictments, 2 more indictments, even before he, Joe. For the election.
I mean, it's lining up like traffic.
So this is where I find it so funny, and I find the media disconnected to its viewers, to the American people. Okay, now we have lined up these indictments already before they are even presented in the courts. We're saying that he's going to be indicted twice or 3 times. How did they know? How did they know that he's going to be indicted twice or 3 times? Okay, this is where people with common sense begin to ask themselves, this is too good to be true. This smells. Okay, as simple as that. It smells funny, it looks funny, and it's about time we say it. And this is not about liking Trump. This is not about endorsing Trump. This is just looking at things and saying, whoa. Now you can be in 2 camps, okay? You can be in a camp where you like Trump so much that no matter what he does, you're like, forget it, I like Trump and this is it. Or you can be in another camp where you're like, I hate Trump so bad that indict him and get him for whatever possible. But I tell you one thing, the American people who have been affected in a positive way when Trump was president, they were stable in their finances. Safety was perfect for them. Maybe not perfect, but they didn't have to watch their back every time. Okay, those are the people that are in the middle, and they are voting or they are going to the polls based on those things. Their 401k was good. Okay, their neighborhoods were good. They could buy cars. They could buy homes. They didn't have to worry about interest rate going sky high. These are the people who are in the middle. So they don't necessarily rah for Trump, and they're not negative for Trump because they see that, yes, the man has issues. He has problems. He has things that he needs to address and he needs to fix. But guess what? Their finances, safety, and the list goes on. You can put that in the comment below. Is better than it under Biden. So what do you tell them? You tell them what? What can you possibly say to change their mind? What can you possibly do to erase what they experienced 4 years ago? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And anybody else who wants to join the GOP, I'm going to add this little bit. Anybody who wants to join the GOP at this point must understand that you are going against somebody who has done a job that people recall. It's not centuries ago. This is right in the back of their memory, and they know how they were living. So this is what I want to leave you with today. I want you to comment, and I need you to subscribe if you are yet to do so. Thank you for sticking with me through this video, and see you on the next one.